The dropshipping market just hit $301 billion. That's a 24% increase compared to 2023. And yet, the failure rate also went up from 85% to 90%. So how is dropshipping getting easier while most people are failing? Well, because it got easier for a specific group of people leveraging up-to-date methods, and it got significantly harder for everyone else who failed to innovate. I spent the last 10 years inside this industry, scaled multiple stores past 7 figures, done over $10 million personally, and helped thousands of clients of mine generate over $50 million combined. And today I'm going to show you exactly what separates those two groups, why more and more people are failing despite better market conditions, and what that winning 10% is actually doing differently so you can copy it. So if you've been trying to figure out whether dropshipping is still worth it or which method is best in 2026, this video is going to answer both of those questions. But let's start by zooming out and understanding what's actually happening in the market right now. The dropshipping market hit $301 billion last year, up 24% from 2023, and projections show it hitting $476 billion by the end of this year, which is mostly driven by fundamental shifts in how people shop online. E-commerce as a percentage of total retail keeps climbing, and that's because social commerce is exploding. TikTok shop, Instagram shopping, YouTube product feeds. People are discovering and buying products without ever leaving the platforms that they're already on. And that shortened path from discovery to purchase is driving a massive amount of volume through dropshipping stores. On top of that, the supply chain side matured as well, where US warehousing became standard, shipping times dropped from 30 days down to 3 to 7 days, and the fulfillment infrastructure that used to separate legitimate e-commerce brands from dropshippers basically disappeared. People expect to discover new brands every time they open an app, get them shipped within days, and check out without friction, but they don't expect to recognize the brand. You put all of this together, and you'll see that the conditions are better for dropshipping than they've ever been. So it's easier to win, right? Better infrastructure, more consumer spending, faster shipping, lower barriers to entry. But here's where it gets strange. At the same time, all of this is improving. The failure rate went up. You see, in 2023, 85% of dropshippers failed within 4 months. In 2024, that jumped to over 90%. So yes, right now there's more opportunity, better infrastructure, but yet more people are failing. So then you have to question this and say, okay, well, what is actually happening here? And to put it simply, the market has matured. And when a market matures, the quality of competition goes up, the standards go up, and what used to work stops working because everybody else has raised their baseline. Think about what a consumer sees now when they're scrolling TikTok or Instagram. They're not comparing your ad to amateur content anymore. What they're doing is, as a customer, they're comparing it to professional creators, established brands, and other dropshippers who've already figured out what works, where your store isn't competing against other beginner stores anymore. It's competing against stores that look identical to legitimate brands. Where right now, if a customer lands on your product page, it's being judged against the same standard as a product page from a company with a warehouse and a marketing team. So the market opportunity is real. I mean, there's more than enough money moving through dropshipping, more consumer buying, and more volume being transacted. But the execution required to capture any of that opportunity went up a lot faster than the infrastructure improved. So the 10% who execute well are capturing more of that growth because they understand what the market now requires. So they're building stores that meet that current standard, not the standard from 3 years ago. They're the ones driving that 24% market growth, and they're the ones who dropshipping has gotten easier for. But that other 90% who don't execute well, they're failing faster than ever before because the market doesn't reward effort anymore. It rewards execution that matches or exceeds what consumers now expect. So yes, the opportunity got bigger, but the bar to actually win got higher. So when people ask, is dropshipping easier in 2026? They're actually asking the wrong question, because the question isn't whether it's easier. I mean, there's more opportunity than ever before with better options to execute. So yes, it definitely got easier, but the real question that needs to be asked is whether you can match the level dropshipping now requires. Which brings us to the next question. What disappeared that allows a 10% to execute at a level that used to be impossible without teams and budgets? Well, let me go ahead and give you a few real examples. A few years ago, if you wanted to build a professional looking Shopify store, you realistically had like 2 different options. Option A is you could spend 2 to 3 weeks building it yourself from a template and hope it didn't look amateur, or option B, you could hire someone for a few $1,000s, where either way, your store would still look like a dropshipping store. And those established brands, they still had the design teams, the developers, and the brand guidelines, where you basically were just using a Shopify template. And let me just say, customers could tell the difference immediately between who you are versus what a legitimate brand actually was. But now that theory is thrown out the window. I mean, AI store builders take a product URL and generate an entire Shopify store automatically. Product pages, collections, homepage, branding, all of it done in about 30 minutes and at a fraction of the cost, where these AIs are legitimately pulling from these 7, 8, and even 9-figure e-commerce brands that all of us couldn't compete against earlier. And now your store now looks identical to these brands without having to have a full-time team. So the visual gap that used to separate you from legitimate companies is now officially gone, where now you're competing on equal footing for the same exact output without any of the extra overhead. That means you can launch faster, test faster, and move on to the next idea while established brands are still in design reviews. Product research is another thing that used to separate separate the serious players from everybody else. Where big brands in the past had market research teams, consumer panels, budgets to test products before committing, all you had was guesswork. I mean, you had to scroll AliExpress, pick something that looked interesting, spend $500 testing it blind, and just hope and pray that it worked. But now that's been eliminated because you can see what's actually selling before you risk $1. You can legit see the engagement data, the competitor ad spend, how long ads have been running, even the estimated revenue that they're currently making every single day. Now, I, for example, use AutoDS for product research on all my stores because it shows me what's trending, what competitors are running, how long their ads have been live, and all the engagement metrics I just mentioned, where now you get all that validation data that used to require a research team to compile right at your fingertips. And because you don't have layers of approval slowing you down, you can now move on faster with these winning products than established brands can. By the time an established brand now validates a product through their internal processes, you've already tested it, scaled it, or moved on. So this tool has the biggest impact out of everything on this list. And since it's also the one I use most, I left the link in the description so you can check it out as a place to start. Right now, they're offering a $1 for 3-day trial so you can find your first potential winner without any type of upfront commitment. And I'm gonna be real, this is where established brands used to have an unbeatable advantage. They had warehouses, fulfillment teams, customer service departments, inventory systems. You were one person trying to process orders manually while also running ads, handling customer emails, and updating tracking numbers. Where in the past, you basically had two choices. You could either do it all yourself and you couldn't scale past a certain point, or you had to hire people and kill your margins with payroll. But now, automation platforms handle everything that used to require a team. When an order comes in, it gets processed automatically, where tracking numbers sync to your store without you ever having to touch anything. And inventory levels update in real time, so you're not overselling products that are out of stock. These platforms also connect directly to suppliers with US warehousing, so you're solving the shipping problem at the exact same time. Fast shipping, automated fulfillment, no manual work. This means that you now have the same operational capability as a brand with infrastructure, but your cost structure is a fraction of theirs. Because they have rent, payroll, benefits, management, overhead, the expenses continue. And all you have is a software subscription, where now the gap in profitability per sale is massive. You can be profitable on products that they can't touch because your margins are always going to be better. Ad creation used to be another huge advantage for established brands. They had creative teams, agencies, and production budgets. They could test out multiple different angles, multiple formats, and run sophisticated creative testing. Where in the past, you would either have to spend weeks learning video editing or pay $200 plus per ad to a UGC creator. And if you wanted to test multiple angles, you can go ahead and multiply that cost by however many variations that you needed. And through those limitations, I mean, most people couldn't afford to test properly. So they would either run 1 or 2 ads and then they give up when it didn't work. And those brands would outbeat you every time because they could outspend you on creative testing alone. But now the script has been completely flipped. AI video tools generate scripts, voiceovers, and complete video ads in 72 hours for a fraction of what creators charge. Where now you can test 10 different angles for what one UGC ad used to cost. And now suddenly, you can move faster than their creative teams for these brands could ever move just by having the right resources. Because you can test more variations, kill what doesn't work, and double down on what does, all before they even finish their first creative review meeting. Supplier relationships also used to be locked behind volume requirements. If you wanted to get faster shipping back in the day, you needed to negotiate directly with suppliers. But they wouldn't even talk to you unless you were moving serious volume. So every single time what would happen is you'd be stuck with AliExpress, getting 30-day shipping, angry customers, and a whole lot of chargebacks. Where those established brands, I mean, they had relationships with suppliers, US warehousing, 3 to 7 day shipping, and you had no option to compete with these people. And that's also now been eliminated, as you can now connect directly to suppliers offering 3 to 7 day shipping from US warehouses, where now you have no language barriers, no month-long wait times, and no angry customers demanding refunds because their order is stuck in customs. So the shipping experience that used to separate you from real brands is identical now, and the customer can't tell if they ordered from you or from a company with a legitimate warehouse. But with all that being said, here's the catch, and this is critical. Every single person has access to these same capabilities. The opportunity is that you can now compete with established brands without their cost structure. You can move faster than they can. You can test more than they can. You can be profitable on lower volume than they need. But most people use these tools and keep the same old strategies. They build a store in 30 minutes, but they're still building a generic store. They use AI to create ads, but they're making the same generic ads that everyone else is making. They automate fulfillment, but they're still selling oversaturated products with nothing to make themselves stand out from all the other people in the market. So yes, the tools make it a lot easier to start, but they make it harder to win if you don't use them correctly. Professional output is now the baseline. It's not the advantage anymore. The 10% who are winning understand this, and the 90% who are failing don't. Now, I know that might sound discouraging, like the advantage is gone, but in reality, this actually makes it easier if you look at what the full competition is actually looking like and who you're competing against. When you look at the whole market, it splits into 3 different segments, and only one of them is your real competition. You see, the first segment is a majority of people who fail, around that 90%. Now, all these people, they're not all doing the same thing wrong, but they all do share one characteristic, and it's that they just don't execute well. Some are building general stores and guessing on products. Some are using new tools, but applying them without any strategy. Some never even get past the setup phase. But the common thread here is that none of them understand what the market actually requires to win. And they all end up failing fast, most within the first month, almost all within 4 months. And the math here is actually wild. 78% of new Shopify stores are dropshipping stores. 90% of those fail. That means that 70% of all new stores disappear within 4 months. You're not fighting with these type of people. You're just really watching them exit, come and go and come and go, as they all eliminate themselves before they even get traction. Now you have the second category, and these are established brands running on old systems. These are stores that have been around for like 2 to 3 years plus. They have teams, overhead, legacy processes, and they're slow. And right now, speed matters more than ever. And these type of brands, they just legitimately can't move fast. Teams resist change. They're still running manual processes because that's how it's always been done. They have payroll, office spaces, managers, where ultimately they have a lot higher costs but lower margins. But you're faster, leaner, and more agile, so you can adopt new tools in a single day compared to months that it takes these type of businesses. Or by the time that they actually implement what you've already been using, you've already moved on to the next advantage, where ultimately their size is a weakness in a very fast changing market. So that leaves the third segment, okay? The 10% who are actually executing well. These are the people who understand what modern dropshipping requires. They're usually like 1 to 3 person teams running automated operations with AI at very minimal cost. They're building the $10, $50, $100,000 per month stores, and they're the ones driving that 24% market growth. So this is your actual competition, not millions of stores, maybe like 10% of the people entering. So the real question isn't, is the market too crowded? The real question is, can you execute at the level of the 10%? Because knowing the tools exist doesn't make you a part of the 10%. The 10% execute specific methods with those tools. That's the major difference. So here's what it comes down to. You can either use AI tools with outdated methods and join the 90%, or you can use AI tools with the right methods and join the 10% who are actually winning. The question isn't, is dropshipping easier? It's easier. The question is, do you know the right methods? And I just went ahead and uploaded a complete walkthrough showing you step by step exactly what the right methods look like in 2026. Product validation using AI tools, store setup with AI builders, supplier selection for fast shipping, ad creation, everything that you need. And inside this video, it's not theory. It's me legitimately executing the 2026 methods live so you can see exactly how it's done. So if you want to be in that 10% and get the full step-by-step breakdown, that video is going to be your next step. The link is in the description or on the screen right now. But listen, and this part's important. If you want to build alongside other people executing at this level, plus get the opportunity of winning up to $100,000 in cash funding while you do it, then it's time for you to join the Auto Ecom Shopify Challenge, where I'm personally giving out $100,000 cash in the next 60 days of my own money to show you that if you start using the right tools, you can really succeed by just following the right systems. And all the tools to join this free challenge is in the description down below. Take advantage of it because the next challenge cash giveaway is happening currently right now. The tools exist, the barriers are gone, the market is growing. All you need to do from here is just use the right methods. I'll see you in that next video. This is AC with Supreme Ecom, and I'm out.